Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Exploring Careers. You're with me, Mitch, from the team here at Explore Careers, and we're lucky enough to be joined by Mark, who's joining us from Bridgestone. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. Looking forward to it.
Excited to get stuck into this one. Now, before we get started, I know Bridgestone's a pretty well-known brand that most people have probably seen or heard of before. But for those who maybe don't, can you just tell us who Bridgestone are and what you guys do there?
Yeah, we're Australia and New Zealand's number one tyre company. So employ over 1,000 people Australia-wide, and really looking forward to helping young people start their careers.
Perfect. Awesome, mate. And what is your role there? What are you doing at Bridgestone?
Yeah, so my role is the National Apprenticeship Program Manager, which is fantastic. A fantastic role, really rewarding. It's fantastic being able to help young kids get in, as I said, and start their career in an industry that they're passionate about.
Awesome. So I guess what's your overarching goal being the apprenticeship manager? Are you looking to, diversify your roles, get more young people in, potentially more, young females into an industry which I am assuming has been more male dominated over the years? Can you talk to us a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've currently got two fantastic female apprentices in what is the first year of the apprenticeship program. So I guess our overriding goal is to, create our mechanics of the future, I guess. So there's a huge problem or skill shortage of mechanics in the market, and that's due to a number of factors. It's not typically the apprenticeship role within other businesses is around having a junior there that's typically cheap labour. We're not about that. We're not looking for a cheap apprentice now. We're looking for our quality mechanics of the future.
Okay, awesome. And I'm assuming you're wanting people to start through that apprenticeship program, but then continue to progress and develop their career with Bridgestone. Would that be right?
Yeah, absolutely. Given the size and the breadth of the company within Bridgestone, there are huge opportunities for career progression. Within the 14 years that I've been at Bridgestone, I've had 8 roles and progressed every time. So whether that's starting on the workshop floor as a tyre fitter or an apprentice mechanic, working your way through to 2 ICs, store managers, field reps, salespeople, all the way through to our head office. So multiple avenues there and plenty of help to get there and progress your career with the company.
Awesome. And that's interesting how you mentioned you've been there 14 years now, and we're talking a bit offline before we got started here today, just about your career journey. Do you mind talking to us a bit more about, I guess, your journey to this point? Was this something you were always keen on? Did you stumble across it? And what were the points you made in your career journey that's led you to here?
Yeah, so I guess it's come full circle for me. I actually left school at 17 and started an apprenticeship as a mechanic myself. Worked through to workshop manager, then got off the tools and actually started selling tools, to be honest. So being a mechanic, I knew what tools a mechanic wanted. After that, I landed my job at Bridgestone in a sales role, a sales capacity. Worked through into franchising, franchise management, into a training role with performance development of stores. And then the opportunity, I guess the challenge came of the skill shortage within mechanics. And then the apprenticeship program came about to, as I said, solve that problem in 4 years' time when we start creating our own mechanics of the future.
Awesome.
It's a really rewarding thing for me to come full circle and now be helping young people start their apprenticeship where I started, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can imagine that's amazingly rewarding. Now, one thing I did want to touch on that you've mentioned a couple of times already is the skills shortage. It's obviously a hot topic at the moment, and it seems to be a term which is thrown around a lot of you, watching the news or whatever it may be. And it might frighten some young people to think, there's a skill shortage. Is this an industry I want to get involved in? That type of thing. So is there anything that you could say that I guess would quell those fears for any young people who are hearing that term and maybe being frightened by it?
Yeah, so it's the skill shortage is a good thing for anybody that wants to get into that role. The automotive industry has a skill shortage to the tune of around 35,000 vacant positions for mechanics. That means there's 35,000 mechanical jobs for a mechanic out there within the market that we just don't have mechanics for. So what that means for anybody who does want to get into the field is job security, and the wages will be on the increase as well due to a supply and demand kind of situation. So it's a fantastic industry that's evolving heavily, as you can imagine, with the changing of from petrol, diesel, hydrogen, electric, hybrid vehicles. So it's a really exciting industry to get in that will have huge job security for anyone that's passionate about cars.
Perfect. And can you talk to us, Mark, a bit about the work culture at Bridgestone and the employee experience? Because I think it's something that's, more so important now than maybe ever before, especially with what we've been through over the past, few years with COVID and everything. Everybody's looking for, an employer that's going to help them develop both professionally and personally, help them with their work-life balance and maintaining a healthy work-life balance. I guess, what does that employee experience mean for you?
Yeah, absolutely. The employee experience, or the apprentice experience for my department, I guess, is number one for me. So the most important part of the apprenticeship program is the apprentice. So every single decision that we make within the program is designed around having a positive effect for the apprentice. Otherwise, it's simply not happening. So employee experience, or the apprentice experience, is number one for me. And the fact that our retention rate is absolutely incredible means that everybody's happy and everybody's glad to be here and wants to stay, which is fantastic for me.
Okay, perfect. So for anybody out there listening to this and thinking, yep, you know what, this sounds right up my alley, this is something I want to investigate a bit further, or get cracking on. How do they get their foot in the door? What are the next steps from here? And what skills and attributes are you at Bridgestone looking for in people who are wanting to get started?
Yeah, so first of all, I guess the skills and attributes that I'm looking for are quite simple. And I don't want to give too much away because these are some of the questions in my job interview, but keeping it pretty simple, it's somebody who's interested in cars and has a good attitude. And that's it. I think we've got hundreds of mechanics within the business that will teach the young people how to be a good mechanic, but I don't think you can teach a good attitude. So if they come to us with a good attitude, then we can teach them how to be a mechanic and do something that they love doing, which is a huge positive. If you can find something that you love doing, come to work every day working on cars, if that's your passion, then we can help you get there and get the qualifications that go with it.
Awesome, amazing. I love to hear that. Now, last question I want to leave you on today, which I like to end all of these interviews on, is what advice would you give to any young people out there watching this today, or currently going through, their high school, year 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever it may be? Because as you would know, as I know, both going through the system, it's often a very stressful time. People, whether it's friends or parents or teachers, are asking you, what are you going to study? Are you going to uni? Are you going to TAFE? Are you going to enter the workforce? And that you're tasked with making these big decisions and big calls at a very young age. You're a teenager, more worried about who's playing here in the football or what parties are on the weekend, whatever it may be. So I guess knowing what you know now and in your role, particularly you'd have a good knowledge of this. What advice would you give to any young people who are kind of living through that at the moment?
Well, first of all, I guess keep it pretty simple and go with your gut. Always go with your gut is a pretty good rule for me. And if you can find something you're passionate about, then try and find a career that fits around that passion. So for me, I've got oil running through my veins. Working on cars and playing with cars just was a hobby and a passion for me. So I've found a career that has me revolving around cars in general. So coming to work and doing something that you love.
Perfect. No, I couldn't agree more. If you can find something you're passionate about and make it your day job, then absolutely, why not? But Mark, it's been so great chatting today, learning about the apprenticeship program at Bridgestone, all the strides you're making there. Of course, if you are keen on learning more about a career at Bridgestone or investigating some of the opportunities and the pathways, then of course you can visit the Bridgestone profile on explorecareers.com.au. We'll leave all the relevant links down below. So if you are keen on, as I mentioned, investigating and seeing whether a career with Bridgestone could be right for you, we'll leave all that information down below so you can go and do your own investigations. But Mark, thank you so much again for your time today. It's been fantastic chatting to you.
Thanks, Mitch.